GF pregnant by another guy after wild weekend of. With him. Gory details inside. Thoughts appreciated. My girlfriend and I are both 30 years old. We both have nice careers and earn a decent living. We've been dating for 5 years. I'm madly in love with her. To be honest, she is the most gorgeous lady I have ever seen. She has all the makings of a model. She is many men's ideal lady and a solid 10/10. Whenever she goes out, she is constantly hit on, regardless of whether I'm present or not. Me, not so much, despite the fact that I have no trouble attracting ladies. I am above average, 7/10, and take care of myself, but I am not cut out to be a male model or anything else. In general, our connection has been wonderful. We've never been disloyal to each other, and we're madly in love. I adore her to the moon and back. However, the previous 6 months or so have been tough. Work has been in high gear for both of us, and although we've saved up enough money to purchase our first home, neither of us has been able to come home before 10 p.m. We've basically been fatigued and have ignored both and our relationship, although for no other reason than time and exhaustion. My sentiments haven't changed and neither has hers. Fast forward to about 2.5 months ago, when we were both asked to separate reunions with old acquaintances from all over the nation. Neither of us is originally from the region we currently live in. It was a terrific way for both of us to unwind after working so hard and ignoring life for a few months, but we were both sorry it wasn't with each other. So we kissed, told one another how much we loved and missed each other, and I went to my hotel while she went to hers. Let's just say our weekends couldn't have been more unlike. Hers involves attending a party when, in her estimation, the most attractive man she had ever seen approached her. He was apparently a buddy of a friend of someone else at the party. She essentially said that every lady was getting wet just looking at him and that she was on a high when this gentleman approached her. She had no intentions of doing anything, but everyone was drinking hard, and she ended up in bed with him for the most part of the weekend. That when she returned, she was the most caring and devoted girlfriend you'd ever seen. I was still too tired/exhausted for her, but she was practically like a stepmother in the weeks that followed. I mistakenly simply chalked it up to her missing me and admiring how much she loved me. Fast forward again, she broke down and told me she couldn't take the deception any longer, and she told me everything. I'm sure she was prompted by the fact that she found out she was pregnant that morning. There is zero chance that will be mine. She is the most pitiful and terrified lady you have ever seen. She even begged me to physically hit her since she is so enraged that she cheated on me. She will do anything I ask of her to make things right. It's truly rather frightening. She is terrified and physically shivering at the possibility of my abandoning her. If I'm being honest, I believe the most of the anxiety stems from the baby. She is sobbing, claiming that she can't get rid of it, and that she is frightened of keeping it and raising it alone. I was entirely deafeningly deafened. I told her that before I went any further, I needed to know the truth. I have to remember every detail of what occurred that weekend or I'm out the door. I knew this was a two-edged sword, that reality and hard truths may ruin me, but I'm one of those individuals who can't not know. The information was horrible and made me physically nauseous. I really puked. For the weekend, my girlfriend essentially served as this guy's personal porn star. Here are some highlights. It was the hardest, most forceful she'd ever had, and she enjoyed every minute of it. It was the finest she ever had. During their weekend in bed, she had multiple strong and intense. She's never done anything like this before with anybody or by herself. He had the greatest she'd ever had. 9. He let her measure it during one of their games, which stroked all the right places, and he could go on for hours. They didn't wear any protection, obviously, and he got all over her face and inside her multiple times over their weekend together. What size were this guy's balls? After coming on her, he pulled her back on the bed, picked up his sperm with his finger, and fed it to her. He slapped her, not too hard, her and her face during, and before she could feel the pain or respond, he would mutter or do something passionate that made her simply let him keep going, as she put it. That weekend, He essentially taught my girlfriend how to enjoy some BDSM. Awesome. On his camera phone, he captured some of the above. So somewhere there's a video of my girlfriend essentially behaving like in a cheap hotel room. So there, Reddit. I can't say I didn't think about the consequences of asking, but hell, I've had my heart torn out from under me. As a result, I now have a girlfriend who is pregnant by a male model BDSM hero with a magical who is going to carry his baby, and who is so sad she will do anything I want just so I can get over this and remain with her. Basically, as long as I don't leave, I can treat her as I want. It doesn't matter if I loathe her for the rest of my life as long as I remain with her. We've been talking about marriage and children for the last year, and she's still waiting for me to say yes. She continues vowing to spend the rest of her life making things right with me and being the greatest wife I could ever desire. I'm at a loss for words right now. I feel as if every sensation in my body has been shorted out, and I am now completely numb. My initial inclination is to just wait for her to arrive at work in the morning, then pack my belongings and depart. I'm not the sort of guy who would care for another man's child, especially now that I know the complete story of how it came to be. We only have 2 months remaining on our lease, and I can easily relocate to a different part of the nation with my employment. Right now, I'm quite thankful for that. So I have the option of leaving and never speaking or hearing from her again. The only issue is that I'm madly in love with her. I don't think I'll ever be over her. I'm undecided. I'm questioning myself. What are your thoughts, Reddit? Is it feasible to get out of this situation? I can't think of anything. I just can't parent this man's child. I'm afraid not. My thoughts were all over the place. Rational thinking would be fantastic right now. Story 2. Wife cheated after 13 years together. To give you a little history, my wife, 28 female, and I, 28 male, have been married for 13 years. We began dating when we were around 16 years old, remained together for almost a decade, and married 3 years ago. Because we had the type of love that everyone else admired, everyone expected us to tie the knot while we were still in our 20s. Things began to shift between us over the course of the last year and a half to 2 years. As a result of certain troubles with her family, she began to become more estranged from them, both emotionally and physically. She also began to become too possessive of her phone, and she began to get increasingly close to a male colleague. To make a long tale short, I snooped, I realized this is horrible, on her phone because I had a strong suspicion that something was going on based on a number of things, and I discovered messages indicating that she was having an affair with this particular man. When I questioned her in early September, she admitted that she had been doing it for a year and that she had no intention of stopping. In our house, they had been having an affair and sleeping together in the bedroom that would eventually become the nursery for our future children. She apologized and promised that it would never happen again, and I informed her that in order for us to go on, she needed to stop communicating with the person she had cheated on me with. She agreed, and we moved on. 2 months later, they are still communicating on a limited basis, with her claiming that it is unreasonable of me to force her to refrain from communicating with someone she considers a close friend. At this point, I'm completely at a loss on what to do. As much as I'm trying, it's hard for me to trust her again after all she's done in my life. I believe that her decision to keep in contact with him continues to demonstrate that she prioritizes their connection above ours. I'm simply completely conflicted with what my instinct is telling me. Additionally, she has requested that I not inform any of our friends of what is going on, so I don't even have someone with whom to chat. Sorry if this came off as a bit of a rant, but this is the first time I put it all down on paper, and I'm not sure how to continue or how to deal with this situation. Edit, I was not anticipating such a strong response from you. This was beneficial, with the exception of a few of you who seem to believe that sending ugly responses while someone's whole world is crumbling around them is okay. I know what I need to accomplish. All I have to do now is pull off the bandage and go to work. To find out how I should handle the problem, I'm going to phone the lawyer with whom I talked a few weeks ago tomorrow at a time that is convenient for me.